you know, when you are traveling and you're working in Tokyo, you're here in the States, you know, can I ask you what was um, the most difficult learning you had to make while you were out there in the world? Again, as an executive leader doing big things.
There's so many. I'm trying to think of one that sticks out of my mind, but since I went old school for my first example, I'll give you something a little bit more current. I most recently was a senior manager at Meta, otherwise known as Facebook. And so when I joined Meta about 5 years ago, I was coming from Ernst and Young. So, although I had worked as an HR leader for many, many years at that point, I had led large teams, done a lot of work globally, felt very, very comfortable. I will tell you at that stage in my career, moving over from financial professional services to tech was shocking, to say the least. It wasn't an easy
Mm,
transition. And in my head, I'm like, I know this job. I know what to do.
yeah.
I understand what to do. I really get it. But the industries, the way that the people interacted, the expectations was so drastically different. And I didn't really know anyone who had moved into tech. So I think I
Yeah.
underestimated just how different cultures can make your role. And so I
Mm,
had a few little mishaps, within that first year. And I really leaned on mentors and friends and managers to help me navigate my path. The most obvious and silliest one was coming from Ernst and Young. I'm wearing dresses, business casual, business suits every day. So I get my interview and I do my interviews and I fly out to San Francisco and I'm like, you know what? This is tech, so I don't need to wear a suit. I'm just going to wear a little cute dress, my red bottoms. I felt like I was so casual, so on point. Literally, not one person had anything on beyond jeans and a hoodie. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'm doing an interview, so a little different, but cool. I still look cute. When I tell you, my manager and everybody that interviewed me after I had accepted the role was like, why did you come here in a dress? Oh my God, you are so silly. Why would you do that? So little things like that, what to wear, how to interact in conversations, you go from professional services where everything needs to be very polished and everything
mm,
needs to be completely ready by the time you talk to a senior leader to tech industry where they're so new and so innovative. Like, where are you at right now? Let's collaborate. Let's talk about
yeah.
it. It doesn't need to be finished. We're just going to continue moving forward. Things like that make such a difference in the way that you work, the way that you present, the way that you show up. So I think it was just a good reminder, even at 15 years in, I still had so much learning to do. And it really kind of
Mm,
solidifies that point where
yeah.
you're never finished growing, you're never finished evolving. And no matter how much knowledge you've amassed, things change and you
Yeah.
really have to be open to continue that evolution wherever you go.
You know, it's funny. So really quick, I'm gonna share a story because you shared that one. So I used to work for the National Park Service. I used to manage their National Youth Employment Programs. National Park Service, employs about 15,000 youth, across the country every year. So part of my job, I get to go is traveling across the country every single year to national parks, checking out programs.
Cool.
That
Oof.
is a fun job. I'll just tell you,
Yes.
it's a
Yes.
lot of travel, but it's really
Good
fun.
travel.
So
Yeah.
the first time I did a travel was to the Grand Teton Mountains, and it was in January, so it was snow everywhere. Right, my first time. I'm a DC guy. I'm a policy guy, executive education. So they send me out there, and I immediately am laughed at by everyone who's there when I get to the cabin because I'm wearing slacks and dress shoes in the snow. And no one thought to tell me, like, Alex, just wear jeans and some hiking boots. Like, and to this day, they still make fun of me every time they see me.
Mhm. Yep. 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 I mean, they're funny stories, but they're just
Yeah.
indicative of one piece, but it's so much more than that, right? It's
Hmm.
so much more. The way people present, the way they interact in meetings, the way that they interact with leadership. Like the clothes and the initial impression is one piece, but Whenever you notice that, look for what else is there that's different.
That is a phenomenal point. That is a phenomenal point. You don't know if you notice. I'm going to underscore that seriously. If you notice one thing that you've learned today, one thing, just one thing, know there's a whole lot more. I mean,
Yes.
that's a reality, right? And you make me think of this concept of how many people think that who don't realize how much things change. Like, and not even things change. The whole saying is like the only thing constant is change.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, even you and me, literally second by second, we are getting older. Our body is changing. Second by second,
Don't I
we
know
are
it? Hmm.
not all of us show the age. Um, but 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 second by second, our brain is changing because as you and I are having a conversation, our brain is literally changing and putting that information into our brain so we can come up with something new later on in life. And like so literally every single day we are changing and becoming a new person. And so the question then becomes is if we are changing every single day, who do we want to become? Are you going to just walk through life and let things happen to you, which is a choice? Things can just happen. And I would say, not a great idea. I would say that you can't control everything in life at all, period, right? We can't control everything, but we can influence. We can put little guardrails to kind of aim us in the right direction by the books that we read, by the people we talk to, by the spaces we put ourselves in. And so I've been preaching for a second. Any reactions?
You saw me nodding. It's resonating. It's resonating. I mean, one of the things that you know as an HR professional is businesses are businesses. They are always thinking about the bottom line. They care about their people, they care about the mission, all of that, but there's always changes dictated by business. So it's really, really important for you to ground yourself and understand who you are and understand your value proposition, what you're trying to get out of working, what you're trying to get out of life. Because following the trends or following, what happens
Mm,
here or what they said or what she said or how they felt can lead to a lot of confusion and frustration. Because to your point, you can't change that, right? What you can control is yourself. What you can control is your alignment to the values that you hold dear, regardless of where I go, regardless of who I work for, regardless of what my manager says. I have values that are important to me, and I have things about me that I feel like I can share with the world. And so that has to stay with you. Without it, I think it's really hard to be successful and to stay grounded. And it's impossible, I think, to really feel that success if you don't have that grounding, because things can change at a moment's notice with
mhm.
nothing to do with you. That's just business. That's life, you know?
That, shoot, you're so freaking right. I love that you brought this topic. I want to say something. I want to hear your reaction to it. Um,
Okay.
so there's this concept I learned a long time ago of the safety net, our societal safety net. Our
Okay.
safety nets are the different levels and layers of relationships that we have. So the thought is like your safety net is put together of it's like your family is part of the net, and then your church, and then your school or your community group that you're a part of, or such and such and such and such. And there's all these little groups of people and that you're connected to that make up your social safety net. So if something bad happens to you in life, you have someone hopefully that will catch you before you hit rock bottom. Your family, your friends, your church, your Boy Scout club, whatever it is, those different levels before you hit rock bottom. Um, Being in the HR world for the time I have been, again, I've been working with senior leaders in the HR space and employee development, employee engagement space for years now. And what I'm seeing is more and more people are looking towards the organization to be all of those levels and layers of their social safety net. They're not the people. Look, this is not me. This is research. People are going to church less. People are engaged in their community less. You're more online, right? The whole different social safety nets are kind of going away, and people are looking and leaning on their organization to be, to help them with their financial planning, to help them with their family planning, to help them be engaged, to help them be so and so. But what happens when the organization's not there? What happens when you get laid off? What happens when something changes in the market and you're now gone? Now you have no net. And so I really do underscore what you're talking about, the importance of being okay, ensuring that you're going to be okay whether or not you have this particular job.
If I could clap and get up and do a praise dance, I would, because that's how deeply I resonate with what you said. You have the research, but I felt it when I was in HR. I saw the transformation. I would see people literally go to their manager with things that literally have nothing to do with work, have literally nothing to do with, they would talk to them and say, help me with, dealing with my sick dad, help me with my budget, help me with these things. And of course, when you have a good manager, you have a good relationship, all of that, that's nothing to sneeze at. What I thought is that we went too far as a society saying work is a family. It is not a family, and it doesn't replace your family. One of the first things that I did when I started working at Facebook is that I got a leadership coach just to kind of help me. And one of the things that he said in probably our second or third meeting is, work isn't your life and it shouldn't define your life. Let's work on strategies for you to be effective, but what else is going on in your life, and making sure that you have a full life and you're not defined by work.
Yeah.
And that was shocking because that was a coach I got through work. And it really is what prompted me to go into coaching myself. You're absolutely right. And whether it's good or bad, if I'm the most successful person in my career, and I saw this a lot of times, I'm successful, I'm an amazing partner, I make millions of dollars. At some point, I'm going to retire. At some point, there's people ahead of me that are going to move forward, right?
Yeah.
If I put all of my time, I didn't build relationships with my family. I wasn't there for my kids growing up. I don't have a close relationship with my spouse. I have no connection to my community. And all I did was get to the top of a chain. There is some challenges coming out of that and saying, now who am I? Now what am I?
Yeah.
And that's for the lucky ones who are able to stay, and move forward. That happens less and less these days. I've been laid off. I've been promoted. I've been everything. So what do you do to make sure that your life isn't defined by work and that you're not looking for your manager or your organization to help you build the life that you want? That's nobody's responsibility but your own. So I just really am hoping that people are feeling that we're going to go in a different direction. It's not me going to work and absolving myself of my financial situation, my personal situation, and looking for my manager and my organization to tell me what to do. I design my life. I look for resources and I leverage them, but I'm not going there for them to tell me anything about myself. I'm going there to provide impact to the mission that they've communicated to me. And I think it's a whole different way of looking, and we've gone a little bit too far in the idea of this is my family and they're going to provide everything for me. It's not good for anyone. It really isn't.
Again, if I could stand up and do a praise dance, I would. But everyone, if you see the jacket, you see the button up right now, but you don't see the shorts on. So we're not going to stand up and do this
Ruin
praise
the
dance. I said shorts. There's nothing wrong with basketball shorts. I can't tell you the last time I played basketball. But so I love to hear. I know we got to start wrapping up. I love to hear from you. What is so just popped in my head. I was going to ask you a different question. I'm going to ask you this one instead.
Okay.
Can you, and take a moment to think about it if you need to, can you tell me the worst advice that you've been given? You don't got to tell me who gave it to you, but like, even if it's not a specific person, like there's some bad advice that you may have heard, or, any bad advice.
I'll say it. It's a little controversial, but I think I have to say it. I worked at a particular company, and as part of the orientation, We got a lot of information. We got really excited about the mission. Wonderful orientation, probably best orientation that I've been a part of. And one of the sessions was, this is now your company. So people got stickers and got excited, like, yes, this is my company. I have so many thoughts, and it is empowering. It's exciting. I would say that that's probably the worst advice that I've ever received. And I think anybody can kind of figure out, once the sheen of the stickers and the orientation fades away, the reality of the situation is, unless you're working for yourself, nobody else's company is in fact your company. And when times are lean or when hard decisions need to be made, you will be swiftly reminded that this is not your company. So I think it's just, again, very similar to the point that we made before. This is really something for you to understand the rules of the game, understand how the rules change, understand how you can contribute, how you can continue to develop yourself. But it's always a fallacy for you to ever assume anyone else has your best interest in mind. You have to have your best interest in mind. And nobody creates a company to give it to you. That's just the truth of the matter. They're bringing you on to support their vision. They're bringing you on to, and hopefully that vision resonates with you, but it's really, really a fallacy to believe that someone else is giving you their company because they're employing you. So.
Look, I'm glad you said it. Because people don't like me if I say it, but you said it, and you got your hair did and everything. And people are like, oh, okay, I listen to him. Alex is just a nerd with some glasses and some basketball shorts. So I want to again thank you so much for joining us today. I want to open the floor to you and get any final thoughts or ideas to share with our audience as we begin to wrap up. But I wanted to underscore really quickly, so much of what we talked about here today, everyone, was about how do you build those relationships, those real intentional, meaningful connections, because you're going to need those inside of work, outside of work. And I'm telling you, the best and most strategic way to do this, I believe, is to utilize the C4 connection model, which is in my book, Relationships That Work. You can find it on Amazon. You can go to gpsleadership.org and find it. But this is a book that you really should invest in, because it is going to take your relationship building skills to that next level. Madam, would you just share a few words with us as we begin to wrap up?
Sure. I love what you said, and I love people really taking advantage of resources like yours and people that have done it before. For me, working in the places that I've worked in and having the experiences, my top passion right now is just really connecting with individuals and really helping them to understand what their values are, what an optimized life looks like for them professionally and personally, and really just taking them from good to great there. So it's something that I'm really passionate about. I am moving into a coaching space, and I'm always looking for opportunities to connect, similar to what Alex said, with other coaches and mentors, and for clients potentially who are interested in really thinking about proactive strategies to optimize their life. So definitely excited for this opportunity and excited to connect with anybody that message resonates with.
Awesome sauce. Look, everyone, you know where I'm going with this. If you found anything of value today, don't keep it to yourself. Don't say that person over there should have been here. Oh, too bad for them. So sad. Don't be that guy. Don't be that girl. Just don't look back, reach back, bring someone else to the table. And even more importantly, bring this to them. All you got to do is click the share, click the like, comment. Any engagement, I promise you, will push it to more and more people. So please don't let these gold nuggets that were shared today only sit on your heart when you know it can sit on so many others. And finally, as I end every session, I encourage you all to stay strong, stay positive, and definitely stay moving. See ya. Thanks for listening to The Executive Appeal with Alex Tremble. I invite you to follow The Executive Appeal wherever you listen to podcasts. Follow me, your host, Alex Tremble, across all socials or via email for exclusive webinars, courses, and speaking engagements on continued topics of executive leadership. So until next time, stay strong, stay positive, and definitely stay moving.